Welcome back, listeners. We are on episode 66, and today I'll talk about what led to a personality change when I entered college. College was a whole new, exciting world for me. Here I was, a timid child, and my mom was so worried that when I got on the train, would I even be able to come back home? And on the other hand, there was this other me just longing to be liberated and to break free and to express on the outside the way I felt inside. Now, typically we wore our home stitched clothes. I had my oily braids. And then there were these clothes that Nancy auntie used to give us, the second hand me down clothes that Nancy auntie would give us. And some of them were so trendy. And when I wore those clothes, maybe, and kind of had my hair open, some people, like a guy called Ajay, he would just be amazed and he would be like, I can't even wrap my head around the fact that you are the same girl. You seem like two different people. And in a way, I was. I was like this person straddling two different boats, two different personalities, and trying to reconcile both of them. And even I couldn't understand who I was, which one was I? Was I this submissive, meek little girl who was so timid and could get lost and was just so terrified of everything? Or was I this confident, happy, carefree girl? Now, so in a way, I was straddling two boats, aspiring to look like and come across as a typical Bombay girl, the way I felt inside. It didn't help that mom was overly controlling and strict compared to an average mom. The level of control she exerted over us can be estimated by these few episodes, which also highlight her struggle between loving us and wanting the best for us, and on the other hand, wanting to keep a watchful eye on our every move and just control every action of ours, attributing nefarious intentions when we were still innocent children. So she had this bizarre thing where sometimes she would pounce on us, sometimes she would love us, and that was very confusing. When you're still in latency and she's like, oh, why were you doing this? Why were you applying perfume? It was so confusing for the innocent child. She even exerted like so much control over dad. Now, at one point, Dad used to wear a lungi at home and he would come home and take off his shirt. And as we were growing into teens, this made mom very uncomfortable. Now, we barely registered or noticed he's our dad. Come on. But she would be like, you have big daughters, wear something. You can't be like this. You can't be like bare torsoed and wearing a lungi. And she just pestered and pestered and pestered him until the poor guy started wearing kurta pajama. So this is the amount of control she exerted over everyone in the family. So on the one hand, mom was a shrewd manipulator, using sweet words to get us to serve her. Ruby and I were already very compliant and obedient girls who wanted nothing more than to please our parents and keep them happy. In my case, to make them happy. They were never happy with me. But there was no pleasing mom sometimes. The neurotic, dare I say psychotic, would take over, and mom subjected us to unnecessary trauma. One of mom's quirks was that she needed all the lights out and all of us in bed before she would go to bed. It did not matter what the justification. Mom had this compulsion and we needed to comply. Now, considering that we were cooperative, all mom had to do was ask politely or just say. But she unnecessarily used aggression to assert her authority. One night, Ruby was studying since exams were coming up. We were in school. Mom walked up to our room, looked at Ruby, and just switched off the light without saying a word. Poor Ruby was stunned and hurt. Ruby sat there, book in hand, mid-sentence, confused and sad. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Now, mind you, this action of mom would have been useful if she had immediately gone to bed having accomplished her objective. But mom stood there in the dark. After a while, mom also started crying. Ruby and mom crying in the dark. Molly and I stunned and confused. Was this necessary? Not at all. What did it accomplish? Nothing. All mom had to do was ask or say that she needed the light switched off. Now she had traumatized Ruby and herself. Weeping, she hugged Ruby. All this drama for what? During such instances, I felt disgust for my mom. What was wrong with this woman? Why was she behaving like this? I would sometimes even hear Nancy auntie say to another neighbor The girls are so good, but the mom. Even when I was small, I remember a time when after hitting me, mom was weeping and trying to hug me. I just stood still, arms at my sides, just feeling utter disgust. It is fascinating how I tried to assimilate my disgust for my mom's aggressive, irrational, authoritarian behavior with my desperate need for her approval and validation. And it is amazing to observe how she tried to suppress us while trying to make us independent and strong all at the same time. I remember once when I was little, and after attending Gurudwara at Bamkhana, we had stopped at a shop. A haggard woman who looked mentally unstable approached my mom and said, तुम्हारे 3 लड़कियां हैं, मुझे एक दे दे. Like you have 3 girls, give me one. My mom was horrified and rushed home. And at home, she spoke about how much she loved her girls and could never dream of ever being without any of them. The hypocrisy of this amazed me because she seemed to curse and humiliate us about our gender constantly and lament all the time about not having a boy. Even as a little 6-year-old, I found it difficult to believe that she cared about us girls. We were brought up in a culture that was saturated with parent worship. We grew up hearing stories of Prahlad, Ram, Dhruv, who would do anything for their parents. So there was that. Mom would also sweet talk us into massaging her shoulders and helping around the house by telling us about X or Y or Z kid who was so dedicated to her parents, did everything around the house, served the parents, including massaging shoulders. And I would happily press mom's shoulders every evening. So much so that I was under the impression that I needed to help out even at other people's houses. I remember a friend's mom very confused when I was at her place playing with her kid and then insisted that I sweep the floor when she started sweeping the floor. The poor woman was wondering what was happening. All that time, I didn't realize that this was not normal behavior. So now we have mom who, on the one hand, took us for our very first Navratri when we were little kids and we were standing very shyly at the edges and mom was pushing us to join the circle to dance the garba and dandiya and all of that. And I remember I was so shy. I was like maybe 10 or so or maybe younger, and I was just trying to shrink away and mom kept pushing me like, go dance, go join, go dance. And eventually I joined very timidly, and then I started getting a hang of the steps, and then I started enjoying myself in the zone. So on the one hand, she would push us to accomplish things that we were feeling too timid or too shy to accomplish. And then on the other hand, she had these bizarre behaviors. Now, tyrants fail to realize that when they are trying to control their subjects, the people that they have subjugated, they need to keep a balance so that the people remain submissive. If you push too much, you just break the people and then they stop fearing you. I was always unquestioningly obedient to my parents. But certain unjust and irrational behaviors were too hard to ignore and led me to the conclusion that I had to be sneaky and lie if I ever hoped to be perceived as normal in my peer group. If mom had her way, I would still be the oddball, the behenji. The one instance where my fear and obedience turned to resentment happened when I was a teenager. I had stepped out after dinner to do the garba on the hillside ground during Navratri. Around 11 or 11:30 the dancing stopped and I came home. And I came home with that workout high, when you just danced and you're still feeling so alive and awake, and the dancer's high maybe. I was feeling elated, happy, good and just joyful. I entered the house, I stood at my bedroom window admiring the scented flower tree, just enjoying the night breeze, feeling at peace, feeling one with nature, one with life, just pure joy. Mom entered the room and said I had to lie down immediately. I explained that since I had just been dancing, I was feeling very awake and energetic. I asked her to give me 5 or 10 minutes to wind down and then I would go to bed. Mom would have none of it. I had to be in bed now, this very instant. I did not want to. My body did not want to be in a prone position right now. I was feeling so awake, so alive. I just wanted to stand at the window for some more time. But mom just had to have her way. Even the light was not on. All the lights in the house were off. I liked it. I liked it just standing in the darkness looking at the outlines of the tree. But no, Mom had to have me in bed just this very instant. What was this but an abuse of power and just exerting control for the sake of exerting control? Disgusted, I laid down. But something within me shifted. I lost respect for Mom. That day, Mom lost something precious and she didn't even know it. I would never look at her the same way again. She had pushed me too far, and now her magic grip over me was broken. And this was the beginning of me thinking that it was okay to be sneaky and deceptive and to lie to them. And Mom had caused this, and she didn't even know it. In the next episode, I'll tell you more about my experiences in college. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy. Bye for now.